Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another Ages of Chaos. It's been a good long while since we last did one of these. I've been busy with other stuff, we've got Hannibal Digested back, we've got a couple of H.P. Lovecraft retrospectives, couple of Our Lives in Horror and Strange Playgrounds going on, and other stuff too. I've been really busy. Also, these Ages of Chaos videos, I kind of wanted to do these 10th edition cult codices a lot of justice because I do genuinely think they are the best the cult legions and the chaos legions in general have ever been in the game. The sheer variety of stuff you can do now is quite bewildering. We did that 4-part series on the Emperor's Children since they are my favorite Chaos Legion and they got their big release this year. Had to do that, and I'm still buzzing on that, by the way. I am still building my Emperor's Children. I will probably do a hobby-based series of videos, actually, because I think that would be fun. My Emperor's Children, every miniature's converted. I like all of them. I like it to be a real project, this kind of thing, And the Emperor's Children do give you that ability to make every single miniature a character, unique, which I really, really love. But today, we're going down a somewhat different rabbit hole. In fact, the Antipodean rabbit hole. We are going to be taking a look at the 10th edition World Eaters Codex. And just like the Emperor's Children and the Thousand Sons and the Death Guard, I did get the big, really special, all singing, all dancing, big boxed set special edition with the counters and medallions and whatnot. I know I'm a fucking mark. I get it. But for these legions, they're so pretty. I wanted them. I just wanted them. So I treated myself. All right. But yeah, the World Eaters. This is, of course, their second codex full stop. They are, despite being a classic and iconic army from almost the very beginnings of Warhammer 40,000. They are also a new army, bizarrely. Traditionally, like many of the cult legions, the World Eaters have always been sort of rolled into the main Chaos Space Marine Codex, which has never really worked for them. The best it ever got, I would say, was in the 3.5 Codex when you had that Book of Corn appendix where the World Eaters had their own set of rules, restrictions, and gifts and stuff like that. That's about as good as it ever got. Who remembers the Rhino Rush from that era? The World Eaters Rhino Rush? Yeah, that everyone hated. I remember that. I remember that very well because I didn't play World Eaters, but I was on the receiving end of that many a time. Thank you, Cornate scum. Yeah, this is the second World Eaters Codex after the kind of experimental Ninth Ed Codex that came out at the very, 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 very end of Ninth Edition, which I enjoyed. I thought it was very good. But this one feels much more established, much more substantial, and it feels like it's had an awful lot of consideration poured into it. Of course, I imagine writing this one was more difficult because the Emperor's Children have come along and they have become another sort of similar flavor of Chaos Space Marine Army in the sense that they are heavily assault based. In fact, bizarrely, I would say they're even more assault based than the World Eaters at this point. Um, so what they've had to do is think about what differentiates the Emperor's Children and the World Eaters, and how can that be manifested on the tabletop? How do you make these two armies significantly different from one another? And what they've really done with the World Eaters, it seems to me, with the Emperor's Children, they've gone for finesse. They are a scalpel. You need to use everything correctly. You need to think about what you're doing and plan and preempt your opponent, set up the charges, etc., etc. The World Eaters, you don't. The World Eaters, although they do require a little bit of tactical nous, they are still ultimately an assault-based army. With the World Eaters, it's not really about capturing objectives or whatever. It's about wiping out the enemy. They've got the ability to get very quickly across the battlefield and just hammer the opponent. As you'd expect, when they get charges off, these guys are bad news. In fact, they're probably one of the best assault based armies in the game. They're very, very nasty indeed. But before that, what I love about these new codices is there's not really a format per se, but all of the Cult Legion codices are broadly similar in terms of layout. And what I like with the background of the World Eaters is the way they've elaborated upon it. Because, of course, almost everyone who plays 40k is familiar with the World Eaters. They are one of those iconic forces. In fact, many of the people who don't even like Chaos are kind of familiar with the World Eaters. They're really iconic of the Warhammer 40,000 setting, as are the Khorne Berserker silhouette, with the bunny ears and everything, is almost as recognizable as your standard Space Marine silhouette at this point. So what they've done, like with the Emperor's Children, like with the Thousand Sons, like with the Death Guard, they've looked at what really characterizes them. They've collated lots of material from lots of different sources, including the Realms of Chaos books, the previous Chaos Space Marine codices, the Liber Chaotica, the very short-lived 7th edition Khorne Demonkin Codex. The Demonkin are back, by the way. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but the Demonkin are back in this book. And of course, the Horus Heresy books, the Black Library novels about the World Eaters. And they've just collated all of that together and introduced lots of new stuff as well. They've tried to give them a particular emphasis in the background, which makes them antipodean, like the mirror image of the Emperor's Children. It's really fascinating. The Emperor's Children are all about ego and narcissism and the cult of the self. That's what they're about. The World Eaters are the exact opposite. The Emperor's Children are enjoying what they do. They are getting a buzz out of everything, and it's all about their pleasure. It's all about their satisfaction, feeding that ego. It's about narcissistic supply over and over and over and over. The World Eaters are the complete opposite. Their background, their history, as it's presented in this book, is one of overwhelming tragedy and the surrender and the death of all ego. From the very beginning, from the implantation of the butcher's nails, the most dedicated followers of Khorne in this book are the ones that give everything up. They're the ones that surrender any restraint, any delusion of an ideology or morality, of vengeance, of honor, of whatever, of brotherhood, anything, and just surrender to the innate violence, anger, and hatred that is Khorne, to the pounding of the butcher's nails. And really, again, unlike the Emperor's Children, these guys never had a choice. These guys never had a choice. It's really embodied in the way that Angron is depicted in this book. Angron Angron is just pure tragedy in this book. The language that's used to describe him, it elicits more than anything pity. More than anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's terrifying. He's the most terrifying thing. If you were like an Imperial Guardsman or even a Space Marine in the 41st millennium and you knew Angron was going to be manifesting, you would be scared to death. Because he isn't like the other demon primarchs. I mean, as monstrous as they are not insane. Mortarion is arguable, but they're not insane. Um, they have some degree of sanity and reason to them. Angron doesn't. Angron is more like a force of nature in this book. The book takes pains to describe that Angron is in constant agony. He still has the butcher's nails, even in his demonic form. He has a sort of enhanced demonic form of the butcher's nails, which ascended with him. They're so innate to his character, and he is in agony all the time. Immortal, undying agony. And he also, because he's immortal, because he constantly remanifests, he hates himself. He hates his own existence. He has become everything he hated. He is a slave for all eternity. He doesn't, unlike, say, Fulgrim or Magnus or Mortarion, he doesn't determine where he manifests, where he goes, what he does. He doesn't create plans or have agendas or anything like that. Khorne determines where he goes, and sometimes even just the whims of the warp, even the whims of his followers. Sometimes his followers summon him to where they need him to be, but he has no say in the matter. He just manifests, turns up like some storm of incalculable violence and goes to town. The only time he can even begin to quell the agony, the self, and lose the sense of self-loathing and self-hatred that propels him is in slaughter when he's feeding Corn. That's the only thing. He's the ultimate avatar of Corn in that regard. He represents everything that's innate to Corn. He hates everything. He hates existence. He hates the universe. He hates the Emperor. He hates himself. He hates his legion. He hates everything. He's a creature of unutterable pity, even in his magnificent, immortal, ascended demonic form. He is not like Fulgrim. Fulgrim got everything he wanted and is resplendent and exultant in his demonic form. He's loving life, he's loving immortality, he's very pleased with himself. Angron wants to die. He wants nothing more than for eternity to end, and it never will. He is never going to be free now. Bearing in mind, the Warhammer 40,000 universe could end and Khorne would still be around because it's not just the Warhammer 40,000 universe in which the Chaos Gods operate. That's been made very clear. There are other realities and other universes which feed the Chaos powers, so he's not even going to be free then. He is damned. He is truly the most damned of the Chaos Primarchs, and his Legion echo that in this book. It's really sad. From before they found Angron on Nuceria, arguably they might have had a chance when they were the Warhounds. They might have had a chance. They were still pretty bellicose back then. They were still very violent, but they were violent in the way that kind of the Space Wolves were, you know? It was controlled, it was restrained, it was aimed, tactical violence. The minute Angron turned up and started getting them to implant the butcher's nails, they were done. They were over. That was it. And this book really acknowledges that. And I love that. It must have been a very difficult one to write. I mean, one of the things they've really gone to town with in the background is exploring how various and nuanced the types of corn worship are. I mean, that's a very difficult thing because I would say, unlike the other chaos, but I would say Khorne is the most myopic of the chaos powers. You know, he's about rage, anger, hatred, violence. That's pretty much it. But they found all of these slightly nuanced ways to demonstrate the manifestation of corn worship, and how that has resulted in loads of splintered, fractured cults and warbands within the World Eaters and those who seek them out. That's the other thing, by the way. The World Eaters have this incredible rate of attrition because of the nature of their warfare. They die a lot. So, in order to replenish their ranks, they take in followers from all over the shop, you know, renegade space marines and space marine chapters that have come looking for them, who regard them as like legendary and who bizarrely and self-destructively regard the implantation of the butcher's nails as a kind of honor, not understanding, not realizing half the time what it means for them. There's the mortals that join them as well, the various mortal cultists dedicated to Khorne, which are surprisingly various. You know, there are loads of different cults that manifest Khorne's worship in very different ways, and I really love that. There are two of them in here actually. There's the Gore Chosen, who are the ones from that kill team that came out, and they emulate bloodletters physically. They hack bits off of themselves and then replace them with prosthetics that make them look more like bloodletters. And then there are, what are the other ones called? Hang on, just let me get my Codex out. It's so, oh yes, here we are. Jackals, the jackals, who are a different type. They are more like the crews of the World Eaters ships that emulates the World Eaters themselves. They've got like tanks of chemicals and stims and World Eater blood on their backs. So they are quite tough for mortal cultists. They've got a little bit of the Space Marine in them, quite literally, you know, and not in an Emperor's Children way, by the way. Um, yeah, it's very, very interesting. I love that. I love the fact they've taken an army that is arguably one of the most myopic in 40k, and because it's blood for the blood god, skulls for corn, isn't it? Ultimately, and they found depth, they found resonance within it. I love that. I really, really, really love that. I think that's very impressive indeed. Um, this just the whole style of the book. It's so much fun to read, just like all of these books. It is packed to the gunnels with artwork and background and so much stuff. It's a great fun read, and I also like the fact that, like the Emperor's Children, these guys, it's emphasized that these guys are a fractured legion. They're not like the Thousand Sons, they're not like the Death Guard, both of whom have central authority and have actual bases of operation and organized agendas going on. They've actually, I mean, Magnus has clearly got multiple plans. Mortarion has clearly got plans. These guys do not. These guys do not. They are fractured war bands operating throughout the universe, some bigger, some smaller. Some of them have got something approaching empires, many of them don't. They're like the Emperor's Children in that regard. They're very much sort of like the mirror of the Emperor's Children. It's hard to say the dark mirror because they're both dark mirrors, just in different ways. It's 40k after all, and there are no good guys here. There's no light side of the mirror here. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. There's a lot of extrapolation on what it means to be a Khorne berserker. How Khorne berserkers see themselves and how they operate and how new aspirants become Khorne berserkers. They have an almost like sacred place in the war bands of the World Eaters. They are the sacred destroyers of Khorne. They go forth in his name and they reap skulls and blood without any thought of other agenda or credence or anything. That's all they do. It's really wonderful, I've got to say. Of course, we've got another section, a new section in here that talks about Khorne himself, and also talks about the demons, since a select number of them can be taken in the appropriate detachment. Yes. Lovely color section, as per, with all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pictures and whatnot. Lots of Angron going on in there, which we like. In terms of the rules, the forces of the World Eaters, there was a little bit of contention when this codex was first coming out, because it's very different from the index. That's really interesting. In fact, all of these books are markedly different from the indices of the cult legions, and that's for many reasons. We'll get into it when we get into it, but the Thousand Sons one is very different, the Death Guard one is very different, and this one is very different. The Blessings of Khorne are still in place in the same way, so it's like Yahtzee, effectively. This is how it works. So, if your army faction is World Eaters, at the start of the battle round, you can make a Blessings of Khorne roll. To do so, you roll 8 dice 6. You can then use those dice to activate up to 2 Blessings of Khorne from the list on the right. Each Blessing of Khorne specifies the dice results it requires. Where a number is specified, a double or triple of that value or higher is required. You can only activate each Blessing of Khorne once per battle round. Any unused dice from the Blessing of Khorne roll are then discarded. Once activated, each Blessing of Khorne applies to all units from your army. So you essentially get 2 upgrades per round for your army. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so what you've got, Unbridled Lust, and you need 2 wands or more for this. You can reroll charge rolls made for this unit. Khorne Berserkers, that may seem small potatoes, but actually, given the upgrade to speed that everything has had in this army, that works really well. These guys, like the Emperor's Children, are getting across the battlefield and they are getting those charges off, which are essential. It's you're going to be using that one a lot. Rage Fueled Invigoration, and this requires 2 twos or more. Each time a model in this unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of up to 3 inches. So you can keep the carnage going when you get in the combat. It's pretty good. Total Carnage. two threes or more. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if it has not fought this phase, roll 1d6 on a 4 plus, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks and is then removed from play. So even when they die, they can do damage, and that's one I imagine that is going to be used quite a lot. Because you are going to get hit back. That's the nature of the army. It's really weird, actually, the way the World Eaters work. The list is tailored so that it expects you to take casualties. You are going to be in the thick of it. You're going to be fighting. You are going to be hitting, then getting hit back. And that's just the way it works. It's kind of cool. So there's quite a lot of fight on death, which is nice. And as you know, fight on death in 40k is pretty good. A lot of armies have stratagems that allow them to do that. But with this, you can get it on your whole army, which is pretty goddamn good, let's be honest. Martial excellence. So you can either have two fours or three ones for this. Melee weapons equipped by models in this unit have the sustained hits one ability. Brilliant. Given the sheer number of attacks you're going to be putting out anyway and the strength of those attacks, mwah, lovely. Absolutely brilliant. That one, again, is going to come up a lot. And again, bear in mind, getting it army wide. Pretty goddamn good. Warp blades. You need 2 5s or you need 3 2s for this one. Melee weapons equipped by models in this unit have the lethal hits ability. Again, can be very, very good army wide. So if you are fighting some big, tough army that has like few units, but they're very strong, like Custodes or Grey Knights or things like the Imperial or Chaos Knights, that's very good. And you take that in combination with something like Martial Excellence, so you're getting sustained as well. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty goddamn nice. Decapitating strikes. 2 6s or 3 3s. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack that targets an infantry unit, that target has the devastating wounds ability. Very nice. Very nice. So the way this works, World Eater's armies have the potential to be very, very, very nasty, very killy on the charge, as you'd expect. It may seem tricky because they're randomized, but actually, because you're rolling 8 dice, on average, you're going to be getting what you want anyway. And there are also ways of manipulating those dice rolls as well within the army list, so that's pretty goddamn good. They are very different as a melee army from the Emperor's Children in that regard, in that it's not about maneuvering for these guys as it is for the Emperor's Children. It's about getting in there and hitting as hard as you possibly can. If the Emperor's Children are a scalpel, these guys are an axe. They get in, they hit hard. It's a very, very nice, very interesting and fun army-wide special rule, and it adds an element of randomness that's not annoying. That's always been the difficulty with Chaos armies when they've added in randomized elements. They've never balanced them correctly, and that's really frustrating. That's really, really frustrating. We'll look at the detachments like we did with the Emperor's Children in separate videos. Well, my loves, let's take a look at the data sheets, shall we? We'll have a look at the detachments in their own videos, just like the Emperor's Children, because, whoo, boy, I tell you what, the World Eaters detachments, they're pretty goddamn good, I've got to say. They deserve videos in and of themselves. So first off, we've got the man, Big Daddy Red, the Red Angel, in fact, who is no longer sanguineous. No, the Red Angel is now Angron. Lord of the Red Sands, as he's also known. Like all of the traitor Primarchs, loads of sobriquets, lots of different titles and names. Angry Ron himself, Primarch of the World Eaters. There's been a lot of conjecture and a lot of negativity about Angron, actually, and I can sort of see why. He's had a massive downgrade from the Index. In the Index, I mean, the problem with how he appeared in the Index was that he was absolutely essential. You had to take him to make the World Eaters work in the Index, and that's a bit shit, really. That shouldn't happen for any of the Primarchs. They should be rare. I mean, for my money, one of the things I sincerely hope they do in future editions of Warhammer 40,000, as a tangent, is with the Primarch scale models and with like the god tier models, you know, like your Catan, your Silent King, your Avatar of Cain, your Avatar of Iniad, Robate, the Lion, etc., etc. You know, those miniatures. What they should do is just go nuts with them. Make them completely unbalanced because they're meant to be. Make them so that they are narrative pieces exclusively, and put a little disclaimer with them whereby maybe where it says these are not for use in competitive circles. You know, because the effort to balance them in with reference to like the competitive scene always undermines them. It's meant to be unbalanced if they are on the board. If Angron turns up, if Robert Gilliman turns up, Magnus, Fulgrim, any of them, it should seriously unbalance the game. It should be about, I mean, the Silent King is the same. Who else have you got for the Tyranids? The big Tyranid. What's he called? I can't remember. The big the Hive Lord, is it? The Swarm Lord. Is it the Swarm Lord? Anything like that. The really big, insane Primarch scale creatures should unbalance the game, quite frankly. And they should only be included for narrative purposes. I think they should make their own bracket for them, where they should own like you remember in second edition when the big special characters like Abaddon and whatnot could only be included in armies of so many points or more. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Um, they shouldn't really pay attention to the competitive scene when it comes to making the rules for these guys. Everything else, yes. Everything else, absolutely. Save these guys for the narrative side of the game, because by their very nature, they unbalance it. Anywho, getting back to Angron. Yeah, they've downgraded him quite massively, just to make him so that he's not ubiquitous, so that he's not essential in the army. It's not quite as the sky is falling, he's absolutely useless, as people are making out. He's just not as good as he used to be. He's an odd one, that's for sure. He's close to Fulgrim in many respects, in the sense that he is just a giant battering ram. I mean, Fulgrim is more like a scalpel. Fulgrim is a bit more. You have to be a bit more delicate with Fulgrim. But Angron, you send it at what you want to die. Basically, Angron works in very particular army lists and for very particular purposes, and you have to sort of you have to measure why you would include him and in what circumstances you would include him. So he's got your standard Primarch, or rather Demon Primarch profile. So he moves 14 inches, he can fly. He's toughness 11, save 2 plus, 4 plus invulnerable. 16 wounds. He's got leadership 5 plus and OC 6. So he's a beast, you know, he's a big monster. There really isn't much barring the other Primarchs and some species of Knight and War Engine that have similar stats in the game. He's an absolute beast. In melee, as you might expect, he's a monster. He's got Samniarius and Spine Grinder. His strike profile has devastating wounds, which is very nice. He's got 8 attacks, sacred number of Khorne, obviously. Weapon skill 2 plus, strength 14, armor piercing minus 3, and damage die 6 plus 2. So anything you chuck him at really is probably going to die. It's probably going to die. On his sweep, same thing, devastating wounds. He's got 16 attacks on this one. Weapon skill 2 plus, strength 7, so half strength, armor piercing minus 2, and damage 2. So yeah, he's going to reave through anything. Let's be honest, he's going to reave through absolutely anything you chuck him at, barring. I mean, there's an example of something in the same codex that he might have trouble with, and that's what's he called? The big bloodthirster. Hang on, what's his name? The outcast bloodthirster. Scarbrand. Scarbrand is a bit nasty. I would say Scarbrand's a little bit nastier than Angron in combat, but considering they exist in the same codex, that's not really much of a problem, is it? He's got his Reborn in Blood ability. Now, this has been downgraded massively. This is the thing where he comes back. But what you have to do in order to bring him back, you need to roll 3 6s on your Blessings of Corn roll, which is not too difficult, actually. You are going to get that at particular points. However, to use it for that turn, you have to forego all other blessings. So you choose either to bring Angron back or to have your Blessings of Corn. And that's a tactical choice. I kind of like it in a way because it balances it out. You are getting a Demon Primarch back. Let's be under no mistake here. That's an insane thing. You can kill him and then he comes back. That's pretty insane. He only comes back with 8 wounds now. That's fine. But he comes back with Deep Strike, which is really insane. That's really insane. He's still pretty goddamn nasty, actually. And he's still going to be a problem. He's still going to be a problem on the battlefield. And there are some armies. I mean, I've seen some armies that just don't have answers for things like the Demon Primarchs. I saw a battle report between Drukhari and the Emperor's Children recently, and the Emperor's Children player took Fulgrim, and those armies just don't have answers for him. They found it really difficult to, and they didn't deal with him by the end. I mean, he reaved through everything. Fulgrim was an absolute beast in that report. And Angron is the same. Angron is the same. There are certain armies that just don't have an answer for this guy, especially when you consider he benefits from things like your Blessings of Corn, from the detachment rules. You can make him quite unpleasant, actually. He's got Wrathful Presence, which is the standard Primarch ability, where at the beginning of every turn, every battle round rather, he can select from 3 abilities. He's got the Blood God's Favor. Each time you make a Blessing of Corn roll, if this model is on the battlefield, you can re-roll up to 6 of the die 6 roll. That's pretty good. So it gives you some control over the Blessings of Corn. It's pretty goddamn good with certain other abilities that let you affect the roll. It's close to picking and choosing. It's not bad. Overwhelming Wrath. Each time an enemy unit within 6 inches of this model is selected to fall back, that unit must take a leadership test. If that test is failed, that unit must remain stationary this phase instead. So it prevents units from falling back from Angron. Fulgrim's got something similar, and it's very good. It's very good. It means they can't retreat. It means that units like the Emperor's Children that have fall back and fight, fall back and charge, or fall back and shoot, can't do it with him. It's quite good. Driven by Ultimate Rage, this is an aura. While a friendly World Eaters unit is within 6 inches of this model, you can ignore any or all modifiers to that unit's move characteristic and to advance and charge rolls made for it. And each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can ignore any or all modifiers to that attack's weapon skill characteristic and or any or all modifiers to the hit roll. It's a really decent, beefy buff for World Eaters. Really decent. It means they're going to get into combat very quickly. It means that defensive stratagems and things and bits of war gear are just not going to work against them. So yeah, it's very nice. It's very, very nice indeed. He's not what he was, that's for damn sure, and you're going to have to consider what when you take him and what he's meant to do on the battlefield. But it is not the sky is falling hyperbole that you're getting across the internet. There's a place for him. It's as a massive sledgehammer, effectively. It's just he is a massive, massive sledgehammer. Um, we could do maybe with a drop in points, just like most of the Demon Primarchs, to make him more effective, to make him competitive with other options in the army list. Like Fulgrim's the same, they could do with just dropping the points on these guys or upping their status a bit. That's one of the things they could do with all the prime, like they did with the Lion. The Lion recently had a massive boost, and he's pretty good now. They could do with doing something similar here, maybe. But yeah, as he stands, I can see why you would take him and in what circumstances, but they're much more considered. They're more narrow than they were before. So yeah. Next up, we've got my favourite in the World Eaters. We've got Khan the Betrayer, the Betrayer himself. And at last, I'm very happy to report they've got him right. Khan's had this problem through, I mean, since Second Ed he was pretty good, but since then, they've never gotten his rules right. He's never been that great. I'll be perfectly honest. He's never been that good. At long last, I think he's actually pretty ace. He brings a lot to the table here. You're definitely going to want like a unit of berserkers with this guy in them. So Khan, what's he got? Moves 8 inches now, so he moves a lot faster than he used to. Toughness 4, yeah. Well, he's a space marine, isn't he? Save 3 plus with a 4 plus invulnerable, which he didn't used to have once upon a time. Wounds 5. Leadership 6 plus, OC 1, which makes sense. He's not going to be standing around on objectives, is he? Ranged weapons, he's got his plasma pistol. It's just a standard plasma pistol now. There was a time when it was Khan's plasma pistol in it, but it's just a standard plasma pistol now, which is fine. Gore Child, his dad's old axe, in fact. This was once wielded by Angron, but it's wielded by Khan now. So he's got 8 attacks, again, Sacred Number of Corn, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 7, armor piercing 2, and damage 3. He's going to be killing most things that he comes into contact with that profile, and with the blessings of Corn, and with all of his other abilities as well. So in terms of those abilities, he's got Legendary Killer. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. Really good. Really damn good. Good for him. Good for the Corn Berserkers that he leads. Yeah, it's ace. I mean, that's worth the price of admission, quite frankly. That's worth having Khan for. He's also got the Betrayer. At the end of your charge phase, if this model is leading a unit and that unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you must take a leadership test for this model. If that test is failed, 1 bodyguard model in that unit is destroyed. I like that. It's really characterful. It works for Khan. Makes him kind of fun, kind of interesting. You have got to get him into combat or he's going to kill his own guys, because that's what the Betrayer does. And we've also got Berserker Fury. This is good. The first time this model is destroyed, at the end of the phase, roll 1d6 on a 2 plus, set this model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, and not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units with 3 wounds remaining. So it's a reference to the fact that he was killed once already, in fact twice already in the Horus Heresy. At one point he ends up impaled on a rhino, and that's at Isfahan, and then he ends up impaled on Sigismund's sword at the Battle for Terra, and he still gets up. That's what this is a reference to. So he gets back up. He's pretty good. I will say there are better characters out there. I mean, like, one-on-one, if he fights Lucius the Eternal, he's going down. If he fights maybe Abaddon, he's probably going down. But there aren't many. He's very, very good. To be fair to him, most characters, if they fight Lucius the Eternal, are going down because he's a monster. But no, this is about as good as Khan has ever been, and I'm quite pleased about that. I'm quite pleased. I can imagine a lot of World Eaters are going to be taking Khan, and he's got that lovely model as well. I do love the new Khan model. The new, it's 7th Ed, but yeah, kind of newish, I suppose. Next up, we've got the new guy on the block, the Lord Avocado, as people tend to call him these days, the Lord Invocatus, as he's properly called. He moves 10 inches, toughness 6, wounds 3 plus, 4 plus invulnerable, save 8 wounds, leadership 6 plus, OC 2. He's got a bolt pistol. Woo! Yay! I can't imagine what he's going to be doing with that. Not much. And he's also got Coward's Bane, which is his axe. He's got devastating wounds on that, which is very nice. 7 attacks, 2 weapon skill 2 plus, strength 6. He's not as strong as Khan. Armor piercing -2 and damage 2, so he doesn't do as much damage as Khan either. That's a nice way of differentiating the characters. I like that. But he's still very good. I mean, he's still going to be an absolute monster on the battlefield. He's also got the bladed horn of his juggernaut that he rides, which is extra attack, so he gets those attacks as well on top of the others, which is really nice. And those attacks have lance. There's 4 of them, and that's weapon skill 3 plus, strength 6, armor piercing -1, and damage 2. So yeah, he does a lot of attacks. He does a lot of attacks, and he can be added to more units than Khan. He can be added to 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, and Khorne Berserkers. Very, very nice. This guy also has deep strike and scouts 6 inches. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. His special rules are really, really interesting. They were in the last Codex as well. So, Fire Riders. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the Deep Strike ability. And each time a model in that unit makes a normal advance, fallback, or charge move, it can move horizontally through models and terrain features. When making a normal advance or fallback move, models in that unit can move within engagement range of enemy models, but cannot end that move within engagement range of them, and any desperate escape test is automatically passed. So effectively, models in his unit can fly. It's pretty goddamn good. Flying Corn Berserkers, flying 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound, it's pretty good. He is beast. Yeah, he's a total beast. He's a very good. Not only is he a good character, he's going to do damage, but he's a nice technical unit as well. He gives the World Eaters this interesting tactical flexibility, which I really like. It just makes him interesting. You know, you're going to think about whether to take him or not because there are good options for characters in the World Eater. So he is going to be competing with others in this slot, but he is very good. He's also got Bloody Stampede. Each time this model's unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range of this model. Then roll 1d6. On a 2 to 3, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 4 to 5, it's die 3 mortal wounds. On a 6, it's die 3 plus 3. So, yeah, the unit that he's part of can not only move really fast, but it becomes this gigantic damage block. It does mortal wounds when it charges, which is lovely, as we know from that bloody demon prince from the winged demon prince from the Emperor's Children, which is absolute filth for this. That's a lovely ability. It really works well. Yeah, he's ace. Lord Avocado. He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant character. Competing with him, we have the Lord on Juggernaut, who is pretty much the same stats: move 10 inches, toughness 6, save 3 plus, 4 plus invulnerable, 7 wounds, leadership 6 plus, OC of 2. He's got a plasma pistol, which is exactly the same as every other plasma pistol. He carries an exalted chain blade, which is 7 attacks, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 6, armor piercing 1, and damage 2. He's got the same bladed horn attacks because he's also on a Juggernaut. And this guy can join the same units: 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, or Corn Berserkers. This guy, you're going to be taking one of these for almost every Corn Berserker unit you've got, basically, because this guy is fantastic. He's not only an evil character in melee, and he moves so quick, 10 inches, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. He has this ability: Aggressive Advance. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a move characteristic of 10 inches, and each time a model in that unit makes a normal advance, fallback, or charge move, it can move horizontally through terrain features. Frigging hell. Horn Berserkers that we'll see in a moment, you can take in blocks of 20, led by this guy moving through terrain features at 10 inches. Ouch! Ouch! That is a threatening block. I've seen World Eaters players be really nasty with this. They take 3 big blocks of 20 Corn Berserkers, each with one of these guys in them. Not nice. Not nice at all. That, in and of itself, is horrible. Then you add into the fact that you've got other really good support units that you can take as well. My God, that's horrible. That's really, really, really horrible. It's brilliant. The Lord on Juggernaut, and not only that, the Lord on Juggernaut is a classic. It's a classic from the old days of World Eaters, and I'm so glad they're back. What I want is the Emperor's Children Lord on a steed, please. That would be lovely. Thank you very much. Yes, it would. Anywho, we've got the Master of Executions, a holdover from the Chaos Space Marines. He's quite nice. Move 8 inches, toughness 4, save 3 plus, wounds 4, leadership 6 plus, OC of 1. He's got a bolt pistol too. Woo! What's he going to do with that? Not much. Melee weapons, he's got the Axe of Dismemberment, which is a massive head taker's axe, effectively. This has devastating wounds and precision, so he's going to be going for characters, this guy. He's a character killer. Melee, this is 5 attacks, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 7, armor piercing -2, and damage 2, so he's no slouch. He's no slouch whatsoever. He's very, very nasty indeed. You can attach him to Corn Berserkers, but the problem is, I'm not sure you're going to want this guy above and beyond a Lord on Juggernaut, because the Lord on Juggernaut does so much for the Khorne Berserkers. But he's got some good abilities. Forwards for blood. While this model is leading a unit, you can reroll advanced rolls made for that unit, and each time that unit makes a blood surge move, you can reroll the die 6 used to determine how far models move. That's good. That's really good. It's really nice. A worthy skull. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. Nice. So he's a character killer, which is lovely. Each time this model's unit destroys a character model, you gain 1 CP. So you can use him to farm CP, which is really good because you don't get much of it in the World Eaters. It's not like the Emperor's Children where 2 of your core units have the ability to farm CP. That's pretty good. That is the core reason why you're going to take him, basically. So if your army or the detachment you're using is heavily reliant on those points, then on your command points, then yeah, that's what you're gonna take him. The problem is, of course, it's the other. He's very good, but it's the other units that are competing for the slot. The Lord on Juggernaut is just so goddamn good. Demon Prince of Khorne on foot. I mean, again, like with the Emperor's Children, they've done a lot here to differentiate this Demon Prince from the other Demon Princes, and I'm all here for it. I really like it. So he moves 10 inches, so he's probably the fastest. I mean, the Emperor's Children one is really fast as well, but it's fast because it can advance and charge. It's fast in a different way, which I really like, and for a different reason. He's toughness 10, save 2 plus and 4 plus, 10 wounds, leadership 6 plus, and OC 3. He's a beast. He's a really nasty command unit, this one. He's got his infernal cannon, which on this guy is rapid fire. That's the other thing. By the way, that's the other thing I neglected to mention for the World Eaters in general. They've done something really clever with their shooting. So to sort of emphasize the fact that they're melee oriented and you want to get close with them, every unit has -1 ballistic skill in comparison with the other Chaos Space Marines, but all the bolt weapons and many of the other weapons now have rapid fire, which, if they do get close, is really nasty. So the Infernal Cannon has rapid fire 1, range 24 inches, 3 attacks, ballistic skill 3 plus instead of 2 like it normally is, strength 5, armor piercing 1, damage 2. It's nice. And with rapid fire, it's very nice indeed. It can chuck out quite a lot of shots. He's got the Hellforged weapons, which strike. He's got 8 attacks. That's a lot. Weapon skill 2 plus strength 8, armor piercing -2, and damage 3. Again, melee monster. Absolute melee monster, as you'd expect. 16 attacks on the sweep. Weapon skill 2 plus, strength 6, armor piercing -1, and damage 1. Still nasty. I mean, he can take out a lot, this guy. He's a very, very nice unit indeed. He's got Deadly Demise, die 3, so if he dies, he can do damage to surrounding units, which is nice. He's got the Lord of Murder. While this model is within 3 inches of 1 or more friendly World Eaters infantry units, this model has the Lone Op ability. Just like the Demon Prince on foot with the Emperor's Children, that's brilliant. That is absolutely bang on fantastic, that is. I mean, it makes him more survivable. It makes him more survivable, and there's some very naughty tricks you can pull with that. Devastating Assault. Each time this model makes a charge move, until the end of the turn, its melee weapons have the Devastating Wounds ability, so he's just nastier. He just gets nastier in close combat. Very, very unpleasant indeed. Direct the Slaughter. Once per battle round, one model from your army with this ability can use it when a friendly World Eaters unit within 12 inches of that model is targeted with a stratagem. If it does, reduce the command points cost of the usage of that stratagem by 1 command point. That's really good. It's really, really good and worth the price of admission, especially if you're using armies or detachments that rely heavily on strats. Very, very lovely indeed. It's a great ability. Demon Prince of Khorne with wings. This one is still very good, but he loses out to the Demon Prince with wings in the Emperor's Children. That's because everything does. That unit is filth, I'm telling you. It's absolute filth. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something with it at some point in the future because it's just ridiculous. The World Eater's Demon Prince of Khorne. Move 14 inches, very nice. Toughness 9 rather than 10, so he's a bit lighter. Save 2 plus, 4 plus invulnerable, 10 wounds, leadership 6 plus, OC 3. He's got the same infernal cannon. He's got the same hellforged weapons. His abilities are slightly different. He can deep strike because he's got wings. He can fly, which is lovely. And he also has bloody terror. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engagement range of this model must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the test if that enemy unit is below half strength. It's all right. It's fine. It's not amazing. It can be used to sort of shift enemies off of objectives if you're lucky. It's fine. Swooping Predator. Each time this model ends a normal or advanced move, you can select one enemy unit that it moved over during that move and roll 6 dice 6. For each 4 plus, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. That's nice. That's really good. It's similar to the Demon Prince of Slaanesh. It's not as good, but it's definitely useful. You can take multiples of these guys if you've got the points and use them to do diving attacks, to reduce or to just harass enemy units that are problematic. It's nice. It's really, really good. We've got next the new guy on the block, the Slaughterbound. This is the 8-bound character, the guy who, because it's not metal enough that the 8-bound have 8 demons of corn inside of them. This guy's got a bloodthirster inside of him. Yeah, just because, So he moves 10 inches. Again, God, everything in this army is so goddamn fast. Toughness 6, save 3 plus with a 5 plus invulnerable, 6 wounds, leadership 6 plus, OC 1. He's very lovely. I mean, he's a beast, he's an absolute beast. His weapons, Lacerator and Demonic Claw. He's got 6 attacks, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 8, armor piercing 2, damage 2. Nice. He's a beast. He's a beast in combat. He can be he can be attached to any possessed unit, so the 8-bound or the exalted 8-bound, basically. And also, he has their ability, so if he's attached to either of them, he can use the deep strike or scout 6 inches, respectively. That's nice. That's really nice. He's got deadly demise, so he blows up if he's destroyed because the bloodthirster erupts out of him and causes carnage, which is lovely. He's got the blessings of Khorne, of course. He's got Rage Eternal. While this model is leading a unit in your command phase, you can return 1 destroyed bodyguard model to that unit. Now, for 8-bound and exalted 8-bound, that's really good. That's really, really good because they're big, expensive, chunky boys. Returning a model is quite significant. It's nice. Possessed Lord. Once per battle, at the start of the fight phase, this model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 3 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons equipped by this model, and those weapons have the devastating wounds ability. So for that phase, he becomes a real monster. And I mean a real melee monster. Not bad at all. We've got the 8-bound, the normal 8-bound. They move 10 inches. They've got the same profile, basically, as the Slaughterbound. And they have their chain blades, which are 5 attacks, weapon skill 3 plus, strength 8, armor piercing 2, damage 2. So they'll kill most things. On the charge, considering they benefit from the blessings of Khorne, from detachment abilities, they're going to be killing most things they hit, let's be honest. They can scout as well 6 inches, which makes them doubly annoying. Beacons of Rage, Aura. While a friendly World Eaters unit is within 6 inches of the unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack that targets a unit excluding monsters and vehicles, add 1 to the hit roll. If that attack targets a unit excluding monsters and vehicles that is below half strength, add 1 to the wound roll as well. That's really good. That's really good. You can maneuver these guys so that they are within 6 inches of big World Eaters units, blocks of World Eaters. And suddenly those blocks of World Eaters become really, really nasty. I mean, nastier, as it were. Very good. It's very good indeed. Then we've got the big boys, the Exalted 8-bound, and they are pretty much, the profile is exactly the same, but they have a different type of chain blade. Their chain blades are anti-monster 3 plus and anti-vehicle 3 plus. So they're the heavy ones. They're the normal 8-bound are going for infantry. These guys are going for vehicles and heavy, like monsters and things like that. They've got 4 attacks, weapon skill 3 plus, strength 8, armor piercing -3, and damage 2. Very nice, very nice. There isn't really much in the game that's going to withstand a charge from these guys, especially if they've got a Slaughterbound or a guy on Juggernaut with them. They're pretty goddamn nasty, to be honest. Blessings of Corn again, Deep Strike. They can Deep Strike in as well. That's very cool. Rend and Tear. Each time an enemy monster or vehicle unit with an engagement range of one or more units from your army with this ability falls back, models in that enemy unit must take a Desperate Escape test. So if you see them coming and you try to get your vehicles or monsters away from them, you can't, not without taking wounds or whatever. They're quite nice. They're a bit more niche than the normal 8 bound, but very good against certain types of army. The Exalted, like Knights. These guys are a very good answer to Knights for the World Eaters. Oh, we're on to the classics now. The core of the army. We've got the Corn Berserkers. They move 8 inches now, by the way, which is really bloody nasty. Toughness 4, because the Space Marines. Save 3 plus, wounds 2. Leadership 6 plus, OC 2. That's fine. They've got bolt pistols. They can take plasma pistols, which are all the same. They've got their Cornate Chain Blades, which are 4 attacks each, which is lovely. Weapon skill 3 plus, say strength 4, armor piercing -1, damage 1. You're going to be throwing a lot of attacks out with these guys, especially if you take them in blobs of 20. Not nice at all. And you can also give a couple of them Cornate Eviscerators, which are the big heavy weapons. They get 3 attacks, weapon skill 3 plus, strength 8, armor piercing 2, and damage 2. So they have the ability to do some heavier damage as well. Lovely. These guys, where they shine really is when you've got the characters attached to them. And when you take into account the army-wide special rules, the detachment abilities, these guys can hit a lot harder than you might expect. They're very nasty indeed. They've got the Blood Surge special rule. So in your opponent's shooting phase, each time an enemy unit has shot, if any models from this unit were destroyed as a result of those attacks, this unit can make a Blood Surge move. To do so, roll 1d6 and add 2 to the roll. Models in this unit move a number of inches up to this result, but this unit must end that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit, excluding aircraft. When doing so, these models can be moved within engagement range of that enemy unit. This unit cannot make a Blood Surge move while it is battle shocked or within engagement range of one or more enemy units, and can only make 1 Blood Surge move per phase. So essentially, it's a way of getting them across the battlefield even faster and of avoiding shooting. It's good. It's really, really good. You know, you attach a guy on Juggernaut to them, and they're a phenomenal melee unit. They really are, and fast. They also get an Icon of Corn. Each time the bearer's unit destroys an enemy unit, you gain 1 bloodshed point. Each time you make a Blessings of Corn roll, roll 1 additional die 6 for each bloodshed point you have, after which all your bloodshed points are lost. It's really good. It just allows you to manipulate the Blessings of Corn a little bit more. It's very good indeed. We've got your classic Chaos Terminators, move 7 inches, toughness 5, save 2 plus, with 4 plus. Invulnerable, 3 wounds, leadership 6 plus, and OC 1. They get the standard outfit for Chaos Terminator, so combi bolters, combo weapons, all of which now, by the way, have rapid fire. So that makes them pretty good in firing, actually. Bizarrely. They don't hit as easily because they hit on 4 plus, these guys. But they fire out more shots. That's really good. Reaper autocannons, heavy flamers. The melee weapons are the same. The accursed weapons, chain fists, paired accursed weapons, power fists, etc. They get deep strike, they get the Blessings of Corn, and they also get Bloody Fury. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest enemy unit, you can reroll the hit roll. Each time that unit declares a charge that targets the closest eligible unit, you can reroll the charge roll as well. So they're pretty good. I mean, Terminators are generally good in 10th Ed, and these are good Terminators with lots of special rules and abilities that apply to them. They're not bad. I can definitely see why you would take a block of them to sort of solidify like the heart of a World Eater's army, or to give you some nasty deep striking early in the game. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. Jackals! These are the cultists. I love these guys. They move 7 inches, so they move pretty quick. Toughness 4. For like a mortal cultist unit, that's pretty good. Save 6 plus, so they basically don't get a save. Wounds 1, leadership 7 plus, OC 1. They get an auto pistol. Yeah, they're not going to be doing much with that. They get chain blades, which are just 3 attacks, weapon skill 4 plus, strength 3. But they can also take, for every 10 models in this unit, you can replace them with a Mauler chain blade. That's 3 attacks at weapon skill 5 plus, strength 4, armor piercing -1, and damage 2. So they can do some damage. And any number of dishonored models can each have their paired manglers replaced with 1 skull smasher and mangler. That's very nice. That's very nice. And you can have 2 dishonored, I think, in most units. So the paired manglers are attacks 4, weapon skill 4 plus, strength 4, and damage 1. Okie dokie. Very, very nice. Skull Smasher and Mangler. Oh, here we go. So that's 2 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 4, armor piercing -1, and damage 2. So it's a bit heavier. In sufficient numbers, these guys can be pains. They hit a lot harder than people will give them credit for. What will happen a lot of the time, people will look at them and go, oh, they're just cultists, aren't they? Or they're just the cultist unit. They're weedy. They're not. They're not. They can do some real damage. They've got objective ravaged at the end of your command phase. It's sticky objectives. It's basically sticky objectives, which is really good. Really, really good. And they have the same icon of Khorne as the world as the Khorne Berserkers. Yeah, most armies are going to have jackals as chaff units, but also as surprises for the enemy. Those units which they underestimate, but which actually can do a hell of a lot of damage. That's the jackals. That's the jackals. We've also got another cultist unit here, the Goremongers that come from Kill Team. These are the guys that hack bits off of themselves to make themselves look like bloodletters. They're really quite unpleasant. Lots of like prostheses, very badly sutured to their limbs and things like that, you know. They move 9 inches, toughness 4 again, so they're tough. They're pretty tough. Save 6 plus, wounds 1, leadership 7 plus, so they don't get a save, and OC 1. They get standard auto pistols, and some of them can also have blood harpoons, which have assault and sustained hits, which is pretty good. Sustained hits die 3. That's not bad. Their attacks 1, ballistic skill 4 plus, strength 5, armor piercing -1, and damage 2. That's really nice. Only one of them can have that, but it's still pretty good. They get chain blades, which have lance, which is good. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. The big thing with these guys, I mean, these guys are not as tough as jackals, and they don't put out as much damage as jackals, but they have infiltrators, which is really good. It makes them a nuisance. It makes them a nuisance unit, which is really nice. Loping speed. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of this unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to die 6. So a reactive move. That's a reactive move, which, as we know, is really, really good. They're not strong. They're going to die quite quickly, but they are very, very good tech units, the Goremongers. Again, I imagine most World Eaters armies are going to make space for them. God, coming up next, one of the surprise units, the frigging Chaos Spawn, man. The World Eaters Chaos Spawn are filth. In fact, all of the Chaos Spawn are good. All of them are good. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. Hang on. Yeah, blood for the blood god, etc. It's not blood, it's just coffee, unfortunately. I don't think Khorne appreciates coffee, but there we are. The Chaos Spawn in these cult books are insane. All of them are. The Emperor's Children one is brilliant. The Thousand Sons one regenerates. The Nurgle one, the Death Guard one, is a pain in the arse as well. This is the worst of them. This is horrible. The World Eater's Chaos Spawn moves 10 inches, toughness 5, save 4 plus, has 4 wounds, leadership 7 plus, and OC 1, so it can perform actions, which is nasty. Melee weapons, hideous mutations, attacks dice 6 plus 4, weapon skill 4 plus, strength 5, armor piercing -1, and damage 2, so no slouches in combat. They can do damage. Here's the thing, abilities. Feel no pain 5 plus, very nasty. Scouts 8 inches. They just get a straight up Scouts 8 inches move. That's ridiculous. Blessings of Corn. To slake its rage, this unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. So that too. These guys can get, look, maybe if you're lucky, you can even get turn 1 charges with these guys. They're friggin' horrible. I'm imagining most World Eaters are going to be taking Spawn in one way, shape, or form. I don't see why you wouldn't. I just don't see why you wouldn't. They are really, really good. Just like in the Emperor's Children, you're going to be taking them. It's not great coffee, it's fine. The Hellbrute. I'm a bit saucy about this one, simply a bit salty rather, simply because the Emperor's Children, for some reason, we haven't got one. They took the Hellbrute out of the Emperor's Children, and I just don't know why. The gaps in the Emperor's Children book. I mean, I love the Emperor's Children book. I think they've done a great job with it, but the things they've taken out are really weird. And you'll see what I mean as we go on. My guess is there's another wave coming. I think the Emperor's Children have got another wave of demon engines and vehicles coming. I think by the end they're going to look like the Death Guard. They're going to have their own bespoke units. That's my feeling anyway. The Hellbrute, again, this thing I'm imagining there's going to be an FAQ for this at some point because the Hellbrute is almost ubiquitous in the World Eaters. You are going to want to take this thing. Moves 9 inches, it's really fast, toughness 9, save 2 plus, wounds 8, leadership 6 plus, and OC 3. It's got all of the normal ranged weapons of your Hellbrute, your combi bolters, heavy flamers, plasma guns, missile launchers, multi melters, twin autocannons, twin heavy bolters, twin laser cannons. However, it has -1 ballistic skill, 4 plus, which might seem a bit of a downgrade. However, almost everything has rapid fire, which actually means it's chucking out more shots than most Hellbrutes, which makes it a beast. Close combat weapons, it's got the Hellbrute Fist, the Hellbrute Hammer, and the Power Scourge, same as usual. It's the abilities that make it really special. So, devoted to destruction. If this model is equipped with 2 melee weapons, in addition to its close combat weapons, add 2 to the attacks characteristic. Pretty standard, that's fine. It's pretty good, pretty standard. Frenzy. In your opponent's shooting phase and in the fight phase, each time an enemy unit targets this model, after that unit has finished making its attacks, this model can either shoot or fight. But when resolving those attacks, it can only target that enemy unit. It can keep fighting. It can have extra rounds of combat. It's a beast. That is really, really insane. You are going to be taking this guy. He's a very good support unit for World Eaters, and he's also just a nuisance. He's a really nasty piece of work. The enemy are going to be targeting him, so you can use him to distract from your other units. He's very, very good. We've got the Defiler here, and it's pretty standard. It moves fast. It's 10 inches. Toughness 10, save 3 plus, with a 5 plus invulnerable, 14 wounds, you know. It's got all of the standard Defiler weapons, but once again, -1 ballistic skill, but with rapid fire, which means that it's firing a lot. It has the Blessings of Corn, Scuttling Walker. Each time this model makes a normal, advance, or fallback move, it can move through friendly monster and vehicle models and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height. So it's not going to be impeded. That's pretty good. Unleash Wrath. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, you can select one enemy unit that was set up on the battlefield within 12 inches of this model. This model can then either shoot at that unit, but only if it is an eligible unit, or declare a charge against that unit. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It prevents enemy units setting up or deep striking or infiltrating. It's a nice sort of defensive buff, that is. We've got the Chaos Land Raider, it's the same as all the other Land Raiders, except its long range weapons hit on 4 plus but have rapid fire, which means they're firing more shots. It's pretty beefy. It's got Blessings of Corn in the assault ramp. It's a Land Raider. They're good. You know, Land Raiders are pretty good. And because they've got the assault ramp ability, that enhances them for the World Eaters quite significantly. They're quite nice. They're a good way of delivering heavy units, you know? Again, a bit salty about this one. The World Eaters get a Forge Fiend. Why do the World Eaters get a Forge Fiend and the Emperor's Children don't? I can only assume that there is going to be an equivalent somewhere at some point down the line, for the Emperor's Children. Again, the Forge Fiend is pretty standard. It's the same as all the other Forge Fiends, except it's fast, moves 10 inches, toughness 10, save 3 plus, 5 plus invulnerable, 12 wounds, leadership 6 plus, and OC 3. The big difference here, the thing that makes this so bloody good, it has the -1 ballistic skill of 4 plus, but it gets rapid fire on its ectoplasma and Hades autocannons, which means it's firing tons of shots per turn. And I mean tons on average. The Forge Fiend in World Eaters is filth. It's absolute filth. And it makes the World Eaters not too shabby at long range, at mid to long range. It opens up a really nice vista of combat for them. I like the fact that it's this good for them because it makes the World Eaters a bit more interesting. It gives you an alternative build and an alternative manner of playing, which is really lovely. You're going to see this everywhere. Most World Eaters armies are going to take 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 because they're just so good. He's got the Furious Onslaught. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target within 18 inches, you can reroll the hit roll. So the 4 plus ballistic skill doesn't really matter. It negates that downgrade in many respects. So yeah, it's bloody awesome. I'm just a bit salty that the Emperor's Children don't get one, quite frankly. There's the Mauler Fiend here, really fast, 12 inches, toughness 10, save 3 plus, 5 plus invulnerable, 12 wounds, 6 plus leadership, OC 3 plus. He's got the Magma Cutters, he's got the Lasher Tendrils, he's got the Mauler Fiend Fists, he's got the Scent of Blood. Each time this model declares a charge that targets 1 or more units below starting strength, add 1 to the charge roll. If 1 or more of the targets of that charge are below half strength, add 2 inches to the charge roll instead. So really goddamn fast. He's going to be making those charges quite a lot and quite early. He's also got Savage Exaltation. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets an enemy unit that is below its starting strength, add 1 to the hit roll. And if that attack targets an enemy unit that is below half strength, add 1 to the wound roll as well. So it's a kind of scavenging unit. You're going to want it to be going after units that have already had a few wounds attached to them, because then it gets all of its abilities and it's just a real beast. It's a really nasty piece of work. You've got your Chaos Predator Annihilator, same as before, same as all the other Predators, Predator Annihilators, except it's got the -1 ballistic skill, but rapid fire on everything, which makes it really good. It's got the Blood Hungry Annihilator special rule. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible monster or vehicle target within 18 inches, you can reroll the wound roll and you can reroll the damage roll. Really good, really good. Makes it a monster and big target hunter, which otherwise the World Eaters might struggle with, like the Emperor's Children do. Again, bit salty, because I want to know why these were removed from the Emperor's Children. It's really strange. I don't know whether they're going to be adding them back in at some point, or if they're going to be giving the Emperor's Children something else. I mean, I can see why they did it, because Predator Annihilator and a Predator Destructor with that ability to fall back and fire is evil. It's absolutely evil. But if they were going to remove them, they needed to replace them with something else, and they haven't yet. So it would be nice to see that happen. It's really good. Chaos Predator Destructor, exactly the same, except this is the one with the autocannons and whatnot. This is the troop killer, the infantry killer, effectively. So this has got Punishing Suppression. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks, excluding monsters and vehicles. Until the start of your next turn, that enemy unit is suppressed. While a unit is suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Really good. Really, really good. It's a defensive ability for the World Eaters. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. We come to one of the best units in the whole book, quite frankly, as it is in most of the Chaos Cult Legion books. The Humble Rhino. The classic Humble Rhino, one of the oldest models in these books. They're just so good. And they're very good in World Eaters. They move 12 inches. They've got the standard Rhino chassis, which you all know the statistics for. They've got that -1 ballistic skill, but again, everything is rapid fire, so they chuck out loads of shots. The big thing here, and I mean the big thing, meet any challenge. In your opponent's movement phase, each time an enemy unit is set up or ends a normal, advance, or fallback move within 9 inches of this model, any units embarked within it can disembark. I want you to think about that for a minute. So, enemy units move within 9 inches, and you can immediately get out the Khorne Berserkers that are in this Rhino. That's mad. That's mad. You can use that to block movement and to block charges to disrupt the enemy. You can use it to set up some really nasty counter charges. It's such a good ability. I can't Rhinos are so good. They're brilliant in the Emperor's Children, they're brilliant in the Thousand Sons, they're brilliant in the Death Guard, and they're brilliant for the World Eaters, and they're all brilliant in different ways. That's what's so wonderful about them. I mean, it's so cool. I love that. I love that they're differentiating these units between the cult legions. I absolutely love that. We've got the Helldrake, the Helldrake, flyers in 10th ed. They're a bit of an afterthought, aren't they? Let's be honest. It's okay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got the -1 ballistic skill, but the rapid fire on its Hades autocannon, so that's pretty good. Airborne Predator. Each time this model makes an attack that targets a unit that can fly, you add 1 to the hit roll. It's a Helldrake. It's fine. It's what it is. It's the Helldrake. It's fine. It doesn't do much. If you are fighting against an enemy that has lots of flying units, then it's pretty good. If you're not, then it's not great. You wouldn't really bother with it. Let's put it that way. This is a big one. The Khorne Lord of Skulls, the super heavy demon engine for the World Eaters, and it's a blinder. Again, they've always struggled with the Lord of Skulls. They've struggled finding a place for it and getting its rules to work. Now it works. Woof, now it works. It moves 12 inches, it's toughness 13. Save 3+ with a 5+ invulnerable. It's got 24 wounds. It's got a leadership of 6+ and an OC of 8. It's got some ridiculous weapons. The Demon Core Cannon, the Gore Storm Cannon, Hades Gatling Cannon, Icor Cannon, Skull Hurler. They're all quite long range. They're all very high attacks. They all hit on a 4+, but that doesn't really matter because most of them have got rapid fire as well. Yeah, this is the really big, nasty, long-range unit. It's tough. It's a Titan, effectively. It's the equivalent of a Titan. It's also a demon engine, which makes it even worse. It's got the Great Cleaver of Khorne, which is just vile. It can just reap through anything, really. There's not much that gets into close combat with this that isn't just going to melt. It's a monster. It's an absolute monster. Idol of Blessed Blood. At the start of the battle round, if this model is on the battlefield, when you make a Blessings of Khorne roll 1 additional die 6. That's nice. That's nice. Super heavy war engine. Each time this model makes a normal advance or fallback move, it can move through models, excluding Titanic models, and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height. When doing so, it can move within engagement range of enemy models, but cannot end that move within engagement range of them. It can also move through sections of terrain features that are more than 4 inches in height, but if it does so after its move roll 1 die 6, on a roll of 1, the model is battle shocked. So terrain doesn't really slow it down. Other units don't really slow it down. It's really unpleasant. It's really unpleasant. There are certain armies that find this a bit of a tricky one to take down, I'll be honest. Not nice. Not nice at all. If I were playing my Emperor's Children and I knew this was in there, I'd be taking 3 Winged Demon Princes, and I'd be taking Mauler Fiends, and I'd be taking probably the Peerless Bladesman detachment for the lethal hits and hoping that would take it down, because woof, it's a beast. It's a beast. It's a point sink, but for what it does, it's fine. It's really fine. And then we move on to the other units. We've got the demons. We've got the demons for the Khorne Demonkin detachment. So we've got Scarbrand. and he's like a bigger, beefier Angron in many respects. He moves 10 inches, toughness 11, save 3 plus with 4 plus invulnerable, 20 wounds, leadership 6 plus and OC 5, bellow of endless fury. So he's got a ranged weapon, ignores cover and torrent, range 12 inches, 2d6, attacks, strength 8, armor piercing -1 and damage 1. So he shouts very angrily at the enemy and it hurts them. He's got Slaughter and Carnage. Their strike attacks 8, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 16, armor piercing -1, and it's a straight 6 damage. Bloody hell. Again, he's killing anything. There isn't much that's got that kind of profile in the game. There isn't much. And there certainly isn't much that can stand up to it, I can tell you. Most knights are going to die to that. The vast, vast majority are going to die in one round of combat to that. He is an absolute terror. The sweep, attack 16, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 8, armor piercing -2, damage 2. Yeah, he's really nasty. He's really nasty. The only saving grace is that he doesn't fly like most other most other bloodthirsters, because his wings are all torn up from when Korn picked him up and flicked him across the Chaos Wastes. He's got Rage Embodied, which is an aura. While a friendly Blood Legions unit is within 6 inches of this model, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. So he's also a force multiplier for your Blood Legions. So yeah, he's very good. Murderlust. This unit is eligible to declare a charge and a turn in which it advances. So he's a monster. He's a real beast. The Bloodthirster, yeah, classic unit. Move 12 inches, toughness 11, save 3 plus, 4 plus invulnerable, wounds 18. Yeah, leadership 6 plus, OC 5. He's a monster. He's a real. There isn't much outside of Primarchs that are going to go toe to toe with this guy. He's got some very nasty ranged weapons and some very nasty melee options. Yeah, he's going to kill most things, this guy, including most other greater demons, which makes sense. You know, he is the king, this guy. And he can fly, which is really horrible. He's got Deadly Demise die 6, Deep Strike. Oh dear. Demon Lord of Khorne aura. While a friendly Blood Legions unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll, so another force multiplier. Relentless Carnage. At the end of the fight phase, you can select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of this model and roll 8 die 6 for each 4 plus. That enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Yeah, he's legendary. Bloodthirster is legendary. And he's an evil SOB in this army. He's really, really nasty. Yeah, I can see why you would want to take him. I can see why anyone would want to take him, quite frankly. Nasty piece of work. We've got your lovely standard Bloodletters who really need an upgrade in terms of model, by the way. They're bloody old now and they look terrible. Move 8 inches, so they're fast. Toughness 4, not bad. Save 7 plus with a 5 plus invulnerable. Only 1 wound, leadership 7 plus, OC 1. They've got the Hellblade, which is 2 attacks, weapon skill 3 plus, strength 5, armor piercing 2 with damage 2. So in melee, they're nasty as hell. Nasty as hell. Bane of Cowards is their special rule. Each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles within engagement range of 1 or more units from your army with this ability falls back, models in that enemy unit must take a desperate escape test. That's really good. When doing so, if that enemy unit is also battle shocked, subtract 1 from each of those desperate escape tests. Ooh, very nice. So falling back from them is actually quite tricky. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. They're good little troop units, you know? They're deceptively good. Bloodletters are. They're deceptively good. They're quite fragile, I suppose, but a bit like Demonettes, they can do more damage than you would expect of them. Blood Crushers, these are filth, as you might expect. Bloodletters riding Juggernauts, of course they're going to be filth. Move 10 inches, toughness 7, save 3 plus, 5 plus invulnerable, 4 wounds, leadership 7 plus, OC 2. They've got the standard Hellblade, just like the other Bloodletters. They also get extra attacks from the Bladed Horn. They get Lance on that. Weapon skill 4 plus, strength 6, armor piercing -1, damage 1. Lovely, lovely, big beefy units. They can deep strike, brass stampede. Each time this unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit with an engagement range of this unit and roll 1d6 for each model in this unit. For each 4+, that enemy unit suffers die 3 mortal wounds. Eek! Eek, eek, eek. Yeah, the demons in this book are really good. They're really good, and they synergize very, 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 very well with the World Eaters unit. And in the Demonkin book, they get buffed as well. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Flesh Hounds! I've always had a soft spot for these guys. I don't know why. I like the dogs. What can I say? I like the dogs. They move 12 inches, toughness 4. They haven't got a save, really, apart from the 5+ invulnerable. 2 wounds, leadership 7+, and OC 1. They get a melee attack, a torrent attack, a burning roar, which ignores cover. Die 6 attack, strength 4, damage 1, no OC. That's pretty nice, actually. They never used to have that attack. Gore Drenched Fangs. 3 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 5, armor piercing -1, damage 1. Yeah, they're all right. They're nice sort of harassment units, these guys. They're not quite as strong as, say, the Fiends of Slaanesh. They don't really have the profile of the Fiends of Slaanesh, but they're very good at harassing enemy units and tying them up. Hunters from the Warp. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. That's good. That's really good, actually. So they're uppy downy. They're innately uppy downy, which makes them very interesting tactically. One thing I like, which I think a lot of people miss actually, about the demon detachments in these books, and we'll go into it when we do the Khorne Demonkin detachment. They alter the style of play sufficiently that it makes them very, very different from every other build of the World Eaters, of the Emperor's Children, of the Death Guard, of the Thousand Sons. I kind of like it. I've got to say, I kind of like it. The Thousand Sons one is the weakest, by the way, but this one is pretty good. So that's kind of overview of the army before we get into the detachments, which we'll do specific videos for. And I've got to say, there was a lot of pessimism when people started to hear what the rules were. A lot of people were like, oh no, what have they done? I think this is brilliant. I think this is the best. I mean, okay, the World Eaters have only had 2 books, including this one, but I would say this is the best the World Eaters have been ever. There's so many different styles of play. There's so many different ways of building your army. There's so many ways of playing with them here that I think for whatever deficits they have from the index, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's so much fun in just building the army, which I cannot help but love. I cannot help but love. And I think World Eaters players, like the Emperor's Children, like the Death Guard, like the Thousand Sons, it really is an embarrassment of riches at the moment. There's so much going on here. And it's exciting. It's really, really exciting. I love the fact that they've paid so much attention to differentiating these armies, of exploring different aspects of what the World Eaters are, and manifesting that on the battlefield. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on which I really, really like. When we come back, my loves, we'll start looking at the detachments, all of which are pretty goddamn good. I'll be honest.